So Todd, welcome to the show, my man.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. It's exciting to be here. We're at Code Launch, and
Yes.
This is an awesome event, and we're excited you're here with us. But I want to take us back just a bit because I want to know about your backstory. How did you get involved in talent acquisition? 25 years in talent acquisition and executive job search. Tell me about that story.
Yeah, it's been a good run. So really, it's all I've done. I preface that with I did have a little 5-year hiatus in IT consulting. So I got involved just right out of school in Oklahoma, and then been in Houston 30 years, and all in staffing, recruiting, talent search. Got into IT mostly in the last 20 years or so has sort of been the focus.
Okay.
And, I got a passion around it. I love helping people, and I'm helping my clients with their needs, solving what they need to get done. I'm helping the candidates with their needs and getting that, those placements and putting people to work, man. I mean, that means a lot, to people.
Yeah. Now you guys use an approach, transformational leadership, right? How does that play into your recruiting and hiring and then consulting or working with your clients?
Yeah, so the transformational piece is, we're looking to be able to guide clients and customers into that realm, whether it's succession planning or, just need a new CTO, CIO, or CFO, but being able to understand what the need is, right? I mean, that's a lot of business, right? You got to understand what they're looking for. We take a very comprehensive approach at Sudduth Search. It's highly collaborative, which is one of the things I really love about it. We can talk about that later, hopefully. But you got to open up the doors for people and open up the doors for your clients to get alignment, strategic alignment within the client. You two may have hiring for the same position, but you may have a difference, Mike and Trevor, of what you're looking for. We need to bring those two things together for you guys and help you understand that, hey, here's exactly what we're looking for.
Sure.
So let me ask you this, all right? We just got through, an election and all that kind of stuff, and, things have been a little bit crazy. So with all that being said, what's the state of talent acquisition looking like? Does it look bright?
Yeah.
Are we going to see some doom and gloom? Like, what do you feel? Like, give us some predictions, man. What do you see?
It better be bright. No, it's going to be bright.
Okay. Future looks bright, y'all.
2025, 2024, 2025, the mantra has been in 2024, it's survive to 25.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in the tech IT world. And I'm sure a lot of these folks out here understand that. We're looking forward to it, man. We got everything. We've had actually a good 2024 in hiring's been up for us.
Okay.
And a lot of other folks, obviously my network, but it's been down too, right? I mean, you got to manage that. But I think 2025, second quarter, middle of the year, I'd look for some good hiring activity.
Even with all the AI and everything, all the rapid.
Yeah, I mean, I love AI. I get it. I know the purpose. Everybody's learning the purpose continually, right?
Right.
Because it's changing.
It's so fast.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
God,
that's the thing about technology, right? You got
so quick,
you got to
man.
be on the cutting edge, the tip of the spear, so to speak, to make things happen. And AI is changing things, but you still need the people component. You really do. You're going to talk to, I think you're one of the folks here who's presenting. He may have a different perspective, but I've talked to him before. We've met. Ryan Reisner, Seeker Pitch.
Oh, yeah.
So he may have a little bit different tune on that from what he's doing, but I think there's always going to be a human component involved. People are scared about, job boards, not really in Indeed.com so much, but some of the other ones out there that they say, hey, send her your job and we'll get you 5 quality candidates within an hour. No,
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen that
yeah.
way. People have to look at these things and screen. You still got the soft skills that are still out there.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we do that all the time when we're working with our job seeker audience, right? Is helping them put the human element back in because we're putting all this technology in the way.
Absolutely.
Or trying to solve this problem and make it more efficient, make it faster, the hiring process. It's actually not, I don't feel like it. I don't know what your thoughts are. Do you feel like it's expediting the hiring, some of these tools and technology and the new stuff?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, cool. Tell me about that.
No, for sure. We've just implemented, we do heavy interviewing, obviously, before our clients even see the candidates. And we have implemented a couple AI tools since I've been there at Sudduth Search, and it has quickened things.
Yeah, okay.
It's taken a lot of some of the manual entry things you have to do, and it has quickened things. We can We can set up all of our.
It just makes your people more efficient.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, absolutely.
To get to the people,
gets,
the people business.
It gets our people more efficient to expedite the candidates into the customers, hands sooner. Absolutely.
How are you seeing things evolve, I guess, with regenerative AI, right? You've got a little bit more going into the game as far as information goes. But on the candidate side, I guess I'm more curious. How are you seeing things since the pandemic evolve from maybe a national competitive level? Like, are you still just searching across the country, across the globe, or are you a little bit more centrally focused now? Where are things going there?
Yeah, no, I think you can still, especially since the pandemic, all the video conferencing, people are more used to that now. And I think candidates are getting more used to that. I think they're a little skeptical initially, talking to someone through a video screen, and now you got to be on too, right? I mean, the candidate we're not on a phone call anymore, where your hat and your jeans and what, you still got to look professional, or should, to a certain extent. But it has helped them, the AI experience for them as well. But I also think it scares them too, because they're not swimming in it as much as like the IT companies that I deal with, right?
Right.
So it's a little bit of a scary opportunity there. Just got to sit back and get them to relax, and everything's good from that perspective.
Okay.
What do you think about? Okay, we deal a lot of folks that we deal with are dealing with ageism, age discrimination, right? A lot of these companies, when the employees climb their way up the ladder, right, and they get up to that senior level role, they get real expensive, right?
Yeah.
And then when the companies are having hard times, they usually cut the top, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
And
And
then
that's your space too, right?
Yeah.
Is the executive side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've seen it.
Yeah.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sure-
Go
no,
with
no.
your
I
question.
was just
Sorry.
going to ask you what are some of the things that you think someone should do to combat and fight back against some of that discrimination?
Yeah, I think you have to always be building on your skill set, whether you're just entering the job market or you're at the top end of the game here.
That's
I
good.
think that's huge. You can always learn. You can always be better. We can all get better, right? So I
Right.
think that's a huge thing that people should be paying attention to. One of my bosses always told me, hey, it's good to make a lot of money, but you never want to be the dog making all the money, because that's when they start looking for you. To your point, companies, when they're looking to cut expenses, they're coming for the heavy hitters from that perspective, from the compensation side. And typically, to your point again, those are typically the older folks in the workforce, unfortunately. But there's one of the ways to combat it is be skillful, keep working on your skills, attend networking events, conferences for sure.
Hold up. What'd you say?
Networking events.
Yeah. It's all about who you know.
That's right.
It's about who you know, right?
Yeah.
Building
No,
relationships.
absolutely.
So how important are relationships, for your career or even business growth, for that matter?
Oh, they're it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just met with he's here today, a gentleman, and younger, just a couple of years in the workforce, which I really love talking to those folks. They have a lot of questions and don't quite understand how things work, and they're slinging resumes on these company websites. Unfortunately, and the ATS, applicant tracking system, just swallows things up and swallow them, and they're done.
You mean the black hole?
Yes, that one. Yeah, which is so unfortunate. So just trying to keep those folks engaged and everybody up to speed on what's going on. But that's it.
Well, tell us about your partnership with Code Launch. We're here at the Code Launch event this year. Tell us about that partnership and, more about the relationship side of things. With Sudduth Search.
So Code Launch, Jason Taylor. Jason and I went to college together.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did you really?
Who you know?
Oh.
That's right.
That's who you know.
That's right. We were fraternity brothers.
Do you see
There you
how
go.
this works, guys? I want the audience to understand. Like, it's all about who
you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Couldn't be said better.
Yeah, so Jason and I were fraternity brothers. I followed his career, excellent career. Have always wanted to be involved in helping him, sponsoring whatever I could do. We see each other, I don't know, 2-3 times a year. But when I went to Sudduth Search, some of the previous companies I was at, they didn't want to really do a lot of conferences or networking in that fashion. And I always felt like, man, once I get to a place and they're 100% committed to relationships, I'm going to help Jason just because that's the type of guy I am. I want, always looking out for people. And so, yeah, we're here. I'm super excited, super stoked. I have never been to one, even though he's been out in Houston a couple times, just could never make it.
Yeah.
But I'm super happy for him, the career and what he's done with improving. I think they're going to the next level, man.
I love it. So besides who you know, right, with Jason, how does Code Launch fit into the broader, talent acquisition landscape? How does this fit together?
Yeah, so Code Launch is here, and they're opening up, doing what they do. The 8 finalists here. We're going to have, I don't know, Jason told me 700 to 800 people here walking around.
Yeah.
Just, the networking opportunities are bananas.
Well, and I'm sure also these companies, as they get launched, right? That's what this is about, is launching these startup companies.
Yep.
And as they get launched, they're gonna have hiring needs.
Yeah, so it's
right,
developing a relationship now,
Yep.
hanging on to that, keeping in touch, acting as a consultant to them, so to speak. If I see something that makes sense for one of these vendors here, and I've talked to them here, I'll let them know. Hey, look, I'm seeing this in marketplace. Maybe you're not ready to hire now, but I want to be there when you are ready, right? So I need to develop those relationships, come to these events, keep in touch. Finger the pulse of their business as much as I can, and function as sort of that consultant. And I've done that my whole career, right? Developing the relationship, consultative approach. Who maybe they don't have the knowledge in house, they don't have the talent in house. If they're growing, possibly, that's why they come to us, right? And they're like, okay, I've talked to Todd 5 times in the last 2 years. We haven't really had anything, but let's connect now, right? It's an opportunity, right? When they're ready, you got to be ready.
Yeah, I love that. And for the audience listening, right, we're at Code Launch 2024, and this event is about helping get these tech companies off the ground, startup companies. They actually compete, right?
Yeah.
They go head to head. They compete. There's going to be a winner today. There's some finalists here, and there's going to be a winner, and so it's a pretty cool event. And then behind the scenes, is there any kind of support that CodeUp gives them to get them off the ground?
Code Launch?
Yeah.
So they provide.
Did I say CodeUp?
You did.
I did. My
That's
bad.
all right. So, from what I know, there's support, there's development support that they provide.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the big thing is, from what I understand from Jason, I don't know all the ins and outs, but there's a lot of support. I know he talks to these folks quite often as well.
Right.
And, there's PE firms, angel investors, venture capitalists, all going to be here walking around. And there's opportunities here for these companies, not just the 8 finalists, for all the companies here. They're out there to.
Well, and the number one thing about a company is its people.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's why you're here.
Yeah, my dad always told me, you're only as good as the people you hire, Todd.
That's it.
And hire above. I mean, I'm never the smartest guy in the room, ever.
Yeah.
So, I got to hire extremely smart people, right? So
good mantra to live by.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I always thought this was interesting, Mark, or maybe you can, add to this or what have you. But, as we started this show, throughout the years, we've actually had tons of code, tech companies and like CodeUp and
boot camps
yep,
and all sorts of
reach out to us.
Yes.
That's been so we've always had coding type companies reach out to us, tech companies, and also universities, colleges reach out to us and want to partner with us, and so it's been an interesting journey. I never would, when I started this, I never would have solved that. But it totally makes sense because of exactly what we're talking about, right? These companies are going to launch, they're going to get off the ground, then it's about people.
Right.
How do we get the company off the ground? People. We need to hire people, and they're coming to us because we've got the job seekers that are looking for work. So it totally makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're we've said it before, they're growing. At some point, they're going to have to add talent to continue to grow and be what they want to be when they want to grow up, to be what they want to be, right? So they got to add. I mean, talent's huge, obviously. I mean, and there are going to be some very innovative people here today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And there's going to be some good connections made by a lot of people, or there should be.
Well, that brings up a question for you and your company, Sudduth. What's the next big thing for you in the company? Who are you looking for? Are there any industry trends? some people here that you're looking to meet up with and
Yeah.
really target?
Yeah, for sure. So again, Jen started the company 5 years ago. Her background, she's 20. We're all about the same age, so I'll be nice.
29?
Yeah, 20 plus, I was going to say 20 plus years of experience. She'll appreciate that. And but she made her mark supporting private equity firms and portfolio companies. Okay, so that's a lot of her focus. So Jen's a managing director. I'm a managing director, and we have another lady named Hazel who's a managing director. Her focus is oil and gas, chemicals, like the Gulf Coast area, right? My background's in technology. So one of the reasons she brought me on is she has a little bit of a technology background, but she wants to get back in that space because we really think it's going to, continue to go and blow and take off. So, she wanted me to come along and get it in with Sudduth Search and start making those connections. And again, that's why I'm here. I'm here to make connections with people from a technology perspective, a talent perspective, and grow that side of the business with Sudduth. And we're not location focused. I'm actually working on roles right now. None are in Houston. So, there's that aspect too, right?
Yeah.
You can, what I said before, you can recruit across the United States.
Well, yeah, I
from
mean,
your bed,
since,
from your
the
office.
pandemic really opened that
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
right?
And like I said, people are used to that now, right?
Yeah.
So,
So I have a question. With all the different companies that you're working with, what do you feel one of the biggest mistakes that companies are making when it comes to talent acquisition and bringing on new candidates and hiring? What do you think some of the biggest mistakes people are making?
yeah, so there's a few. The interview process right now can be extremely extensive.
Onerous?
Yeah, for the wrong reasons.
Who was
Yeah.
it that we met? They had 12 interviews.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah, it was a little while back, but yeah, I think it was with like.
And we won't name the company, you
Oh,
shady company.
I just let it out back. But yes, 11 or 12 rounds
yeah.
of interviews.
It was an insurance company.
And I think
I won't
actually
name
we had talked about this. Here's a comment we had made: is like they should pay you
Yes.
for your time during the interviews. 11
Hey,
interviews.
Okay,
Absolutely, I like that.
Let me know about this thought,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Because the hiring process is messed up, right? We all know
Sure.
this. The whole thing's just messed up. But I feel like the way to solve it, okay, is to put some skin in the game, okay? On both sides, skin in the game. So, and job seekers are going to hate this, okay? But they're going to hate this.
Yeah.
No, hear me out, hear me out.
I got you.
Hear me
I
out.
got you.
Imagine it costs you $100 to apply for that job. Let me
Yeah.
ask you a question. Are you going to make sure you got the skills and you're actually like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I'm not saying
Yes.
it should cost $100.
No, I get you.
But just
I
as
got
an
it. Yeah.
example, let's say it
Yeah.
costs $100.
Yeah.
Like you're going to make sure you're not just going to spray and pray,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I got to pay $100, but on the flip side, all that money's going into a bank, okay? And if I interview with you, you're paying me for my time, okay? So let's just say it's one interview and it's $100 for that interview or whatever. And if I have to go through 12 rounds of interviews, man, you know how much time and research and all, like, you better pay me. Even if I don't get the job, you better pay me.
Yeah, you're taking out some of your costs and getting it back, and your time and effort, man. That's
Sure.
worth everything.
I don't know if that will solve
And
the
I'm not sure
problem.
that's going to
make it work,
fly,
but
but I mean, I like it. I like it.
It's,
We gotta
it's
have
innovative.
It might even the table a little bit, right?
Yeah.
12 interviews. Why we have to have 12 interviews when we decided on this candidate in round 3?
right.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So-
And if they're paying for it, if they're paying to apply,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
you know
Well-
they have to be.
Yeah, again, I was talking to a gentleman earlier today, just into the workforce, and it was like, how do I get networked and how do I do it? And I was telling him, look, the ATS thing, and you gotta know the people, and if you guys know how many resumes come across that are not matches, and it's
Right.
just unfortunate. It's a waste of time for everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
The candidate, I mean, I get it, the spray and pray, doing it, I get it. The recruiters, talent acquisition folks are looking at it and saying, because they don't have time either, So it's unfortunate. But
And
yeah.
we're seeing it
Yeah.
across the board, from early career to late stage career.
Yeah, it's
right?
not delegated to a certain experience level.
Right.
It is across the board. It's just a faulty hiring process, job description bloat, I call it,
Yeah.
where
Yeah, what's up with that? What
Yeah,
can we do
it's
to get
horrible.
these employers?
And what
Hold
is
on.
Sudduth doing? Like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, so the good thing there is we're, again, highly collaborative. And what we do, we have an alignment meeting and a strategic meeting with our client. Everybody who's involved in the hiring process for that specific role has to be in this meeting. And what it is, we just create an internal document, which is an overarching document that helps us with the search. And part of it is we do it because we get you two guys in the room. And again, I mentioned before, you may not have the same alignment internally.
That's true.
And we figure it out. And we help them with the job description. Do you have a job description? Yes. Okay, let us look at it, and we will refine it and take a look at it and add and delete things. And they bite off on that because we're taking that off their table as part of their work. Sure. Of course, we're going to get the 5 major things in there that they need, right?
That's so good, because I think a lot of companies just throw out these canned job descriptions, and then all of a sudden they have this wish list, and then they're just throwing more bells and whistles on the wish list.
Yeah.
You know, it's like buying a car and I want it loaded up, but I want to pay for the accent, the Hyundai accent. You know what I'm saying?
And that purple unicorn is not there.
But I want,
not there.
That's
but I
the bloat,
want all
baby.
the bells and whistles.
That's
I want
the
the
bloat.
leather and the sunroof and the and the navigation, but I don't want to pay for it.
So here's my philosophy on that. And so when I see a job description, I start working on something. Now this hasn't happened at Sudduth because, again, highly collaborative and we align. But in the past, I get these job descriptions, again, trying to educate the client. If I see a candidate that matches 80 to 85% of that on that job description, I think they're a good candidate for my experience level of these 20 plus years of doing this. I will fight for that candidate, put them in front of the customer, and the customer and I will have a good conversation about it. He's missing X or she's missing X, Todd. I understand, but she's got a very close cousin to X, right? She's got a different CRM system that she's implemented in the past, and they're not too far away from each other. So that the job description bloat is real, and it's so frustrating.
What percentage do you think someone should apply if they're a match for this job description?
I would say 85%.
That's what I was thinking.
That's sort of my 80, 85, but I'd go 85. Yeah.
I was just answering that today in Coach's Corner for the job seekers. I have this mastermind where I teach job seekers different strategies on how to get back to work, and that was a question that came out. And he was like, what if I want to go for this job that basically I know is not for me? I said, well, if you know it's not for you, don't apply. Like, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Now, if you're like an 85%, you don't have to be 100%.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. But another key thing to that is if you're 85%, you need to find the hiring manager in that company.
Yeah.
Don't ATS this. Figure it out through your network or your friend's network or your friend's friend's network. Get that person's direct contact info, the hiring manager, the decision maker, and be able to reach out to that person and just introduce yourself. Hey, I'm Todd. I'm interested in, code launch, and here are my skills. I know I'm not a direct fit. However, here's where my previous experience makes up for that.
Right. Here's the alignment.
So it's more than just, applying to it. You got to do the research behind it, right? I think that's very important for candidates to understand.
Well,
Absolutely.
And in this day and age, with the process being the way it is, that's really one of the only ways you're going to get in. Because at the end of the day, there's not really any candidate that checks almost every box. Like, you're not at 99%.
Correct.
You're just never going to find that person. So
No.
you got to go with a more natural, organic way to do it. And especially with the applicant tracking systems these days, designed to weed people out. That's really
It's so
good.
funny. I've been mentioning ATS, and I've implemented several, so I'm like conflicted.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like a blessing and a curse,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, blessing and a curse.
Look, the perfect resume is the one that gets seen.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So we need
true.
to get it looked at, and that's the other thing too. Is I see these job seekers, they'll go crazy redoing their resume over and over and over and over, chat GPT in it, doing all these things. We're trying to game the system to try to get a human to look at it, and I'm like, look, you should just understand that if you go in the black hole, that's just part of it. And that doesn't mean that you can't still get the job.
Well, it doesn't mean your resume is not up to speed either, right?
Right.
So my thought on resume is you should have a resume that sort of captures your whole experience. Now, you're not going to submit a 7-8 pager to someone, hopefully.
Yeah.
But
You have like a master resume.
you have a master
And
resume,
you take
a
it.
template. Then
Yep.
you take that for which job you're applying to,
Yep.
and then you pull your experiences from that master resume
That are
into
relevant.
that.
Yep.
And then you find that hiring manager, hopefully, and write to them.
Yes.
I feel for these job seekers though,
It's
because
tough.
oh my gosh, what a process!
We've
You
all
know
done
what I'm
it.
saying? What a process!
What would catch your eye? Let's say you're in the process. You're looking at candidates. You got a few narrowed down. What's going to stick out to you? Who's the candidate that's going to make an impact and stick out to you? Is there something that people are doing?
Yeah, that's a good question. There are things out there that I'll look at now. but a lot of it, again, remember, is dependent on what my client's looking for too.
Sure.
Right. So, specific keywords, skills, and interests. I think resume setup has something to do with it. Like, I'd like to see a nice objective summary, what I want to be when I grow up type deal in the top. Then I like to see sort of like skills listed, then experience, and then education at the bottom. Unless you're an early career job seeker, I like to put it at the top because, they may not have a lot of experience. Yeah.
Right.
So I think just in.
Yeah, there's like fundamentals to the resume,
Yeah,
right?
but again, it all boils down to the person looking at it, what they
That's
like.
true.
That's
Right.
the big thing. That's what I go to these,
True.
and talk to these young job seekers. I'm like, just because I like it this way doesn't mean everybody else is going to like it this way. But I think if you just stick with a standard and a format that you're comfortable with, that's what you should do.
Well, guys, we got Todd Krum in the house. Make sure you connect with Todd at Sudduth Search, SudduthSearch.com. Follow him on LinkedIn. Todd, any last words for the audience, man? I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you guys reaching out and having me on. Super excited to be here. Glad, Sudduth Search gets to participate and looking for a good show. So thank you guys. Appreciate it.
you.
Thanks,
guys,
Todd.
that's the show. It's all about who you know. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Who You Know Show podcast. My name is Trevor Houston, and if you've enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing wherever you listen and leave us a positive review to help us keep the mics on in the studio. Until next week, that's the show. It's all about who you know.